Hello viewers, you are watching Diplo Talks. Kazakhstan is a huge country in Western Europe, enriched with mineral resources and a potential of economy. 28th in the ease of doing business, Kazakhstan is India's leading partner in the region. To talk with us about Kazakhstan and India-Kazakh relation, we have with us His Excellency Mr. Bulat Sarsenbayev. Ambassador, to commence with the interview. Kazakhstan attained its independence in the year 1991, and since then there's a constant leadership of the President Nursultan Nazarbayev. So what do you think has changed, and what are the potential that has come across in the leading years?
You know that in December 1991, Kazakhstan proclaimed its independence, and from that time more than 27 years passed. Of course, the initial period, we call it transitional period, from socialist economy to open market economy. It was very hard. The economy scientists, they called that period shocking therapy. Our government, our president Nursultan Nazarbayev, they had the vision and the governance. It is one of the secrets of Kazakhstan success. And from the beginning of our independence, government started to send students abroad to support the students, young people. It was created a fund, Bolashak, by presidential fund, which supported the young people studying in the best universities in the world. We have good universities in Kazakhstan up to international level, and in one of them, 2015, when the Prime Minister Modi was in Kazakhstan, he gave a speech. Nazarbayev University, it is a very good university. The curriculum was prepared by draft together with Cambridge and Harvard universities, and the teaching staff are international. Even the president of the university, he is a Japanese former governor of the Central Bank of Japan. Today we could speak that Kazakhstan is one of the most rapid economies in the world. Recently, last year, we became, according to the rating, 28th country easy doing business in the world. So it's, as I know, India has also moved about 23 places, and now it's 77, but with 28. And several instruments were created by our government, some institutions like Development Bank of Kazakhstan, like some funds, Innovation Fund, and Kazakh Invest Company, which is one window to all investors. It's like a consulting company to the foreign companies wishing to come to Kazakhstan, and it's free. Even they help consulting legally, financial issues, and so on. So that's why Kazakhstan is the main attractor of foreign investors in the region. You was right to say that Kazakhstan-Indian relations are growing steadily. You know that President Nazarbayev, his first visit abroad after we became independent in February 1992 was to India. Today we could speak that no any area which is not, we are not cooperating. It's economy, education, culture, sport, even cinema, cinematography.
That is recently.
Yeah, recent, yes. But our trade last year, 2017, it was almost $1 billion, $945 million. But last year we make it over $1 billion. So it's the largest. We are the largest partner in Central Asian region to India, because this trade more than even the trade of all other Central Asian countries, combined trade. So it's and we now developing other areas of cooperation. And we are very fast moving in IT cooperation, in space cooperation, in fintech cooperation, in this, because we know that India is very advanced in this area.
Ambassador, what about the free trade agreement?
Yes, during the visit of Prime Minister Modi 2015, July, to Kazakhstan, this issue was raised, and two sides agreed that we will start the negotiations. And the free trade agreement, it's a Eurasian Economic Union, and it depends not only Kazakhstan, it's other members of this union, Russia, Belarus, Kyrgyzstan, and Armenia. And as I know, 2017 they started the negotiations, the Commission of the Eurasian Union, Economic Union, and India, they started to negotiate. And India is a big market, so it could change a lot in our relations. The main issue now is transport corridors, because Kazakhstan is a landlocked country, and for us, this trade, which I am saying more than $1 billion, easily could be increased up to $5 billion even now, if it would be some sufficient transportation routes from Kazakhstan and to Kazakhstan, because many things we need from India, but and India needs from Kazakhstan, but the cost of transportation is very high. That's why the products could not compete on our market. Kazakhstan always developing these routes. In 2014, we completed the railway project together with the governments of Turkmenistan and India, Iran. So-called, it's some kind of north-south corridor. India is developing this north-south corridor from port of Chabahar to Afghanistan, and then further to the north. This railway corridor is existed already. Chabahar project will take maybe another couple of years to implement and to build a railway to connect Chabahar by railway with Iranian railway system. There is another branch of this north-south corridor supporting by Russia, Azerbaijan. It's to go through Iran to Azerbaijan, and then to the Caspian Sea, and to the western part of Russia, and so on. But still, there also between Iran and Azerbaijan, it is needed to construct some around more than 100 kilometers of railway. So, for the moment, Foreign Affairs Beybut Atamkulov, he proposed to create a consortium of those interested countries and interested companies to develop this route. We have such an example. We did the same several years ago, between China and Western Europe to Germany. For example, from China to Germany, it took us before the consortium 23 days to bring the goods, and the one container was $7,000 high cost of the container. But after consortium started to work, the timing became 13 days, almost half, and the price cost $3,500, also acceptable. It's more or less acceptable. So we hope that if we will form this consortium, at the beginning, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Iran, India, maybe later could join Russia, whatever country, because we are talking not about only trade between Kazakhstan and Iran, Turkmenistan and India, but through these countries to Russia, to China, to Europe, because furthermore already existed railway network.
What could you think is the best support by India in this relation, in this aspect?
We started actually with trade forwarders, and I think that our minister during Samarkand meeting proposed, and all the sides agreed that it is important for us, and we'll do it. We'll do it, believe me. Because this is importance of this route will drive us, because it's economic importance. We will benefit from it.
And when it could be expected?
I think that in nearest future. Yes, in nearest future.
How do you think Indian people as a best source for tourism?
You know, when I started as an ambassador here, 2014, end of 2014, I came November. I submitted my credentials December 9th of December to the President of India. We closed that year with 6,000 visas issued by around 6,000 visas issued by our embassy. But last year it reached to more than 25,000. So it's 4 times more increase. We opened new flights, now 11 flights between Kazakhstan and India. And I'm informed that SpiceJet and Indigo will fly soon also. Imagine how many flights. It shows the interest. More than 1,000 people used this last year of these transit passengers.
With so much trade, so much connection, still India is not in the list of free visa for Kazakhstan.
We develop it gradually. From 1st of January, for example, as I told you about 72 hours, before that, business visas, our embassy, we simplified the regime for taking one entry business visa, mostly for the companies who wants to first time to go to Kazakhstan, to explore Kazakhstan possibilities. Now our embassy, no need invitations from Kazakhstan. We provide these visas and issue these visas in our embassy. If we will have the letter of support from FICI, CII, such kind of organizations, or even some companies whom we know. Now we don't need to take to go through procedures to obtain some invitation, register them. It makes now easier to issue the visa business 1 entry, 1 month visa within 2 days. So it's very easy now. Then 72 hours for transit passengers. And from 1st of January of this year, we finally introduced electronic visas. Now it will be much easier now for those who live in other parts than Delhi to get tourist visas. So they will do it on electronic sites. So it's also simplification.
Your future plans for strengthening the India and Kazakh bond, what it will be?
First of all, we would like to keep as it is. Our relations, political relations, are very good relations. Trusted. There is a political will to cooperate, to support each other on a bilateral level, on multilateral level. So maybe economically we have to move faster. As I said, one of my nearest target is to create this consortium, transportation priority areas of cooperation between our 2 countries. I named them. It's IT, fintech, space, oil and gas sector, pharmaceutical sector, health and pharmaceutical sector, military technical cooperation, because during the visit of your Minister of Defense in September to Kazakhstan, we agreed on many issues. And you know that at that time our new minister, Beybu Tatamkulov, he was the Minister of Defense and Space Industry. And they discussed now they will implement it. You know that recently it was a big change in our ministry. Our president made changes. He appointed the new minister. He is a former colleague of us. He was ambassador in several countries. And he was the Minister of Defense and Space Industry. He has a very experienced person in economy. You know that Kazakh Ministry of Foreign Affairs now is responsible for coordination of export of Kazakhstan and investments. All the functions from other ministries now moving to our ministry, even the people, the agencies, for example, Kazakh Invest company is now part of our ministry. A committee for investments also moved to our ministry. So we are now focused on economic cooperation. But you know, economy always driving the political issues. It's they are so, how to say, interconnected. If you develop political issues, economy is growing. If you develop economic issues, political issues growing. So it's they are the same interacted relations. So the more volume of trade between our countries, it shows the how the countries in reality cooperate between each other. So. And there is a big future.
Share a very good bond with Kazakhstan, and it will grow. Thank you so much, Ambassador, for sharing your valuable time with us.